What's up, everyone? Just make sure everything on here is working, which it looks like it is. Cool. So hopefully some of you guys hop in here. You just make sure everybody on the internet knows that I'm live and has the link. We should be good. Regardless, I'm going to be here. So I don't care. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mock up a couple card designs for pitch deck I'm doing this week. What's up, Low-Key Ninja? If you aren't aware, I am trying to build a trading card brand. And basically I need to be able to pitch to people that they should trust me to do this. So that's what I'm going to do today. I had a meeting with someone last week about their clients. And I need to make some mock-ups that are specific to them for this pitch deck. So I've got a lot of the numbers ready to go. I just need to do this and then a couple other branding stuff to get this going. So we're going to do that. What's the subject? If you've been paying attention, I'm going to be doing a lot of chess related content. And that is because there's nothing out there. It's a wide open field in the trading card space. Card people don't know about chess. They know chess exists. I don't think they care about collecting chess, but I want to get them to care about collecting chess. Low-Key Ninja, yeah, I'm from Ohio. So I am in the States. So the first series, I guess, that I'm starting with is with the Botez sisters. So I don't know if you know who the Botez sisters are. I'm going to pull up their IG because I'm going to pull some photos from there, actually. Because there aren't a lot of photos of them on the internet, actually. So ideally what's going to happen is I'm going to get photos from them that are approved to use. But these are the Botez sisters, Andrea and Alexandra. So they have a huge following. They've got like 1 million YouTube subscribers. They have 261,000 followers on Instagram, but their individual Instagrams have 880,000 and 950,000. So I think they're a great target market for a trading card. I think they're diehard fans who have been there since day one would love to have something like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and mock up a couple cards. I don't want them to be super templated. I want them to be, you know, like what you see from my Instagram. You know, these fleshed out sort of sports graphics, but for chess. So stuff like this, but with them. The issue with that is I need good photos. So the better the photos I have, the better we can do that. So we're going to grab some photos from Instagram probably and work with those. And then figure out what kind of style we want to do. Because, like, I've done a couple sports cards on stream here. So, like, I made these on streams. These are sort of templated out. And they look nice. And this might work for, like, a super short print. But I want to do something that is very specific to them. And I've pulled up a mood board that we talked about on Instagram. Let me pull that up. You can probably find this Instagram board if you just go to my Instagram board, this Pinterest board. So this is my board here. There's some like random like Ariana Grande and like Sabrina Carpenter stuff in here. But we want to have it be chess heavy and chess focused essentially. But I do want it to be leaning into sort of fashion, which they theoretically are high in. Being females, there's a lot of really nice fashion stuff on their own personal board or pages. I know this is Alex. I know she's getting into poker, so she's playing in some professional poker events. So we're probably going to do a poker card for her. And then Andrea is also getting into being a DJ, so we're probably going to do something with that. No problem, Low-Key Ninja. I will see you later. So I'm going to pull some photos from here. So I was trying to find some photos of Alex. So usually how I get photos is I go to Google Advanced Image Search and I search Alex Botez. It's Alexandra or Alexandra. I'm going to search for photos higher than 2 megapixels. That's going to give me high resolution photos that are only high resolution. So I want to find stuff that are not like media day photos, but like media photos. So I'm just going to look through here and see what kind of professional photos that I can find that I think would be good on a card. One thing I want to make sure I do too. So like this is a solid, this is probably nice. Like this was in a magazine. So this is 3 years old. That's not bad. I want to make sure I'm not finding stuff from like 2018 where you can't find anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this. I'm going to open the image in a new tab, see how big it is. It's pretty solid. Usually there's some stuff that you can do to get rid of some stuff at the end of this. I don't want this open. Nobody wants this open. So this is how big that photo is. I'm just going to download that guy. And I'm doing this just as, like, I'm not going to use these on the final thing because I want to use approved photos. But I think I can go like this. Nope, okay. So they uploaded this one. Cut on perfect, which is smart. That's a pretty solid photo. So she actually went to Stanford, which is cool. But this is showing me some other photos. So I'm going to click on a couple of these articles to see what I can find. Like this is really nice. So let's look at this article. And sometimes it's, this is not an article. It's a, is there, oh, that's weird. It's giving me like a story design. What's up, Jacob? Is this literally just on a story? That's crazy. Why is it giving me this? All right, I need to find this photo somewhere. I mean, I'm just going to download this photo. It's 900 by 1200, which isn't that large. Is this the photo we downloaded? I don't think it is, because I think... Oh, God. I think it was different. So let me open this in a new tab. See how they uploaded this. If they uploaded it smart, which they did. They crop it before they upload it. But sometimes they just upload it and they change it in the back end on the website. Let's go here. So she's, how old is this? This is from last year. This is good. So I'm opening this image in a new tab. Pretty solid image. I can save this to downloads. So I'm right now just trying to find random photos of anything I can find. So I have that photo, that photo, that photo. I got a couple photos of Alex. Andrea posts a lot more photos to her Instagram page, so hers are going to be a lot easier to find. We're going to open this in a new tab. There were a couple good ones from this, like, photo shoot. Whatever this photo shoot was for was pretty nice. Here's a Rolling Stones article. Let's look at that. You'd think usually, like, media has nicer photos to download. So this photo I know I can get larger. So I'm going to grab this from Alex's page here. So I'm going to find that photo. Like this is a cool photo. Side profile photos are good. I'm always looking for something where I can do something. My Instagram's not up anymore. Where I can do something with multiple shots and multiple angles. So this is a giant photo. This is great. It's exactly what I want. Photo's huge. I want this photo in that size though. So where did this photo come from? Just came from this Google result. It came from Pinterest. Dang. Okay, cool. Let's go back. Like I want this, like these, like how old is this article? It's always the question. See, this is 5 years old. So like I don't want to put a 5-year-old photo of her on here. But some of this stuff is really nice. But this is just showing, I want to just basically prove what I can do with chess-specific stuff. So I'm going to go here. What was that? Okay. So like her holding a pawn, or is it a pawn or a bishop? It's a pawn. It's kind of nice. I want this photo though. Oh, I want to open the image in a new tab. Oh, it's tiny. Can I change it up here? Yeah, so right here, if I get rid of this resize and hit OK, here's, boom, full-size image. Okay, so that's cool. That New York article is not coming. This is kind of nice. I might want something like this. Let's open that image up in a new tab. I can go up here, get rid of this quality stuff. And then save this down. Okay. It's kind of decent. Let's go to her. Actually, no, I want to go here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect the element on this. And this is going to allow me to find where this photo is, which is right here. And zoom in, and then boom. Decent sized photo. So that's what I'm going to do with these. Like this photo I want, so I'm going to inspect the element on this. Basically figure out where it housed in the website. Oops. It's one of these. It'll just say on the right then how big it is. This is what I want. So I can copy this full URL just like this. So Jacob, I don't know if you've been following along. I'm trying to create my own card brand, basically, since I'm done teaching now. So I can focus on that, focus on doing some streaming. Let me pull these photos in here. And basically what I hope that looks like in a couple of years is the sort of success Tyson Beck's done. But in general, I'm going to focus a lot of time on this over the next 6 months. Is trying to figure out how to get this off the ground. Make a really super cool drop for these guys, these girls here. I'm doing some stuff with the UFL, which their last game is like right now. I've been doing stuff with them, doing stuff with Princeton, and some other oddball stuff here and there. So let me take a look here. I really like this photo. I think it works well. This is going to be good to... I think we've got a good basis for sort of what I want to do for this. So there's a couple things if we look at... We'll do Andrea later if we get there. I'm going to be on here to like 3:30 probably. So we'll go with that. Like this is nice. Like I'm going to save this to card 1. So just a really nicely edited photo with just like a couple things going on, which is nice. This is Matthew Paul. We'll save that there too. And we'll go to my card 1. Oh, this is stuff for card 1. That's fine. Let me view my board. So like I think something like this is just a photo of Sabrina, but it's edited well. It's like sort of in a container. Then there's stuff outside of it. What can we do there? So there's a couple obvious things we can do. We're going to start there and then go from there. So what I'm going to do first, what I have right here, this is a 2000 by 2800 pixel setup, which is 2.5 by 3.5, because that's the size of a trading card. Except what I need to do is I need to add a bleed to this. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the setup. That's our final size. This is how big this is now. We are going to add on 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to make my canvas size 2.75, which adds 1/4 of an inch, and 3.75. All right, so there's that. And then we're going to make this just larger. Let me see if I can do this first. Let's go to guides. New guide layout is what I like to use, because that means I can add columns straight up and down the middle, and I can add a margin, which is 0.125, 0.125, 0.125, 0.125. So that's my bleed in Photoshop. Is 0.125. So then the card is inside of that. I'm going to add another guide that's 0.25. And I'm not going to clear existing guides. What's up, Darren? Yeah, I need to do a reel today, but I think this is going to be the reel, because this is going to take 2.5 hours. It's going to be about the same amount of time as me doing that. And this is me doing something content-wise. I'll just make I'll link to this probably and post something with that. So this is how I like to set up the cards I design. So I have my bleed on the outside, and what I can actually do is I can add just a solid color. I'm going to put it into a group, set the fill to 0, and I can give this a stroke. I'm going to give it a stroke on the inside of this square, and I'm going to set it to, if I set it to 75, that's where the padding is. So I'm going to do divided by 2, which is not going to let me do it. So I'm going to do 38. And then this is now my bleed. So I know where the bleed is on this card, which is great. Once I have that set up, I can then change this to be pixels, and I can change this to whatever I want. So I'm just going to change it to 2000, which is just going to make everything bigger. It's just going to give me more pixels to work with, which is great. So what we've got going on, we've got that. So we want everything to be inside of this. Now, when designing sports cards, there's a couple different avenues to go. So like, what I've said I don't really want to do is I don't want to make it super templated. So like, let me pull some of these guys up. Like this is a card I made for Dayton 6. Let me look at my camera, make sure I can see what I'm showing you guys. Yeah. So this is a card I made for Dayton 6. Very templated, but it's what we needed. So it's got like this nice jet set. It's got a place for an autographed person's name. Same thing with this. This is more, I'm gonna pull this back because it's super bright. So this is a flying high insert. So this is more what I want to do because it's a little bit more unique. Not something where you can just put in anybody's image and have a place for them to sign. But ideally, they're going to be this quality. They're going to be shiny and holographic. So we need to think of a couple different things when we're doing this. So let's just list those out. One, not a template. Let's just make this, yeah, I want this to be Termina. I like this font Termina for what it's worth. Now this is in a thing. One, no templates. And for some reason, the Photoshop has a new like thing where it automatically bullet points, and I'm like, I don't want it to do that. I kind of do, but it's fine. So we do no templates. Oh, I can't do that. I gotta hit enter because that's a thing. 2, holographic wear. 3 would be what can change color for rarity. 4, chest focused. 5, looks good. No. Place for autograph. So this is what we're going to be focusing on pretty much today for these cards. Get rid of that. I'm actually going to, let me see if I can find their signature somewhere. Botez autograph. Images. So they have this logo. Should probably put that on here. So we're gonna do that. This is not what their logo looks like. So let me find that. I can just search like Botez merch. There's this random website that has their merch on it. So I'm gonna save images to downloads. It'd be nice if they had on here. So this is what I'm looking at. It would be nice if they had photos and not just this video, which is kind of how it is. But this is their chess store, so you can buy chess things. Let's see what this is. This is a... Ooh, man. Is this super rough? Ooh, look at that. That is not what it looks like on their website. So this is the funny thing, is like... There's a lot of time that goes into just finding resources, which is why it's great when someone just gives you the resources or the approved images. Okay, so this is a better file. This is a ping file. That's better. So we'll put this here somewhere. Now, what I should do is I should really check out their Instagram pages, see what their branding is for themselves, how they brand themselves. So they Botez.live, which goes to a link tree, which basically goes to their YouTube, Twitch, merch, chess account, and Instagram, chess.com account. So I'm gonna swing over to their Twitch account just to see what's going on here. Just to see what, like, oh god, this is playing. I don't want that to play. It's super loud. So, not much on here. So that doesn't help us. So we're going to do whatever we want. And it really just depends on what sort of theme do we want this to be. So when I talk about theme, that's why I go to this Pinterest board. I like a lot of the stuff over here for like what we can do. So like this, where it's stuff inside, encapsulated inside of something. I like doing stuff like that. But in terms of design, there's like, we can go vintage or retro look. We can do something that's cinematic or with a lot of lights and photo manipulation. We can go grungy. We can go super distorted like this with it. I'm trying to think of what would look best. And a lot of it has to do with the images we can find. So let me hop over to, let me grab a resource. I know I'm going to use Envato for this because Envato is great. So I want to look up queen chess piece. And basically I can use something like this, or I can use some of this 3D stuff. This 3D stuff is always great on here, which is why I use it. I kind of don't care what color this chess piece is because I'm kind of going to use it. What I want to do is I want to use it as a photo shape or shape container for an image container. You know, so I'm looking at this going, okay, how can we have a photo in here? What can we do with this? If I download this angle, we can do that. I do want a chessboard. The cinematic clean version is probably what I'm going to do, Darren. I really want to put a chessboard on here, but I had a specific way of doing it. Because when I'm trying to figure out with some of this stuff too, I need to add this. Sixth. Lower this. 6 would be depth. So I wanted to have depth in the card. I don't want it to feel too flat. So I had an idea of doing something like this. I thought I heard my dog, but I think she's upstairs. All right, so I have these assets that we can use. So I'm going to throw this chessboard on here because I got an idea of how I want to use that. And then I'm going to throw this queen on here because we'll see what happens. All these are great because these are Photoshop files. So I have shadows if I need them. I have backgrounds if I need them, but I don't for this. I just want the chess piece. Same thing for the chessboard. I just want the chessboard. I'm going to grab a holographic texture. Like this. We're going to throw this in the back. Now I'm going to duplicate this and sort of make it a little bit more realistic to what it would be. But I can use this as, you know, hollow so I can turn things off and on. But what my thought was with this was having a spot here at the bottom where this is like set to screen or something like that. So then this is where the autograph goes. It goes on this sort of chessboard. And in terms of autographs, we want a pretty decent size for it. So if I grab this ruler, I've got this card here, which has a sticker on it, but I'm going to measure the area they have for the autograph because I want these to be on-card autographs. So this specific card has, and I'm just going to make a rectangle. So the width is the width is 2 inches. The height is 0.9 inches. Which we can't do because we're not using inches. So I'm just going to scale this up now. That's scaling correctly to be here. And I know this card is 2.5 inches wide, and then this is 1/4 inch. So I think it needs to be a little bit smaller. But we want something like this. Like this is the space we would want. So if I put this chessboard, if I set this opacity to like 30% and move this up and make this a little bit larger, like this is a good area for an autograph. And that goes all the way to the bottom on that one, but let's put it right there. Or put it a little bit higher. Maybe like that. So we have this area for an autograph to go. Now I'm in the Botez's Discord. which seems like the same 6 people talking. But I know someone posted a photo. They're 120, man, these people just nonsense, just talking. Someone posted an image and they got the Bota sisters to sign a piece of paper. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So I need to see if I can find that. But there have been, this is a couple days ago. Let's see if it's here. That would be after this. So I'm trying to find that just so I have a version of their autograph that's true. So I can just toss it on here and set it to multiply. I think it's in here, but they have a pretty active community, which is good because I want them to have an active community. I want them to care. So when we drop this, they buy all the cards. And I know I've talked about it a little bit. It might take me forever to find this. I'd pull this up on my computer, but Discord is super broken on my Mac for some reason. I want just images. Yeah, let me go to media. Hold on. Hey, look, Chris, it's that guy with his hat and stuff. Sorry, someone's trying to give me more work to do, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Okay, good. I can just search files. Whose files is this here? Wow, there's a lot of files in here. Bear with me while I try and find this. I got to figure out exactly where it was. Chris, how are you doing tonight? Huh? Today, tonight? Hope things are going well across the pond, as we like to say. Okay, it's not in there, it's not in there. It's probably not in here. Just came back after home a week of dog sitting and visiting the family. That's fun. Oh, it's presidential election day. How do those go? Are those as heated or controversial as they are here in the States? Man, where is this thing at? There can't be this many media in the last 13 days because I only hopped in here recently. When is this from? It's from last year. I want to search this whole server. How do I do that? Let me just do this. Media, there we go. The office doesn't hold quite much power. Oh, but it does get heated, yeah. I guess it just really depends on how much that person can screw up or help the let's say company. Country. Okay, I found what I was looking for. I'm gonna airdrop that to my computer. Free-for-all stage, and then the top 2 candidates, provided no one gets the vote. Poland Incorporated. So here's this. I don't know what this is. I think they might have been cosplaying as people. I don't know. I don't know what these photos are from, but this is what Alex's signature looks like. So we're just going to clip this. Like this, we're going to turn it into a smart object, open it up by itself. We're going to erase some of this other stuff we don't need. I do not want that. What do you guys have your outside border settings set to in Photoshop? I have mine set to dark gray usually. It's just a nice happy little dark gray. And sadly, my touch panel isn't working. So when I hit this gradient map button, I can't hit my super cool gradient map. Yeah, dark gray's the move. So if you don't know how gradient maps work, they replace the color with whatever this shade is underneath it. So here's a signature now. I'm like, man, who is spamming my chat? Oh, it's my brother. Okay, good. He's allowed to spam. Hello, dear. I am very interested in buy your company fast. We are serious, cash-ready buyers. Please send your info so we can proceed quick. Now, humorously, Chris has the power to ban you. But you're also technically a mod in here, so that wouldn't really work out, would it? So this is the idea I had. So the signature would go down here in some sort of aspect, but I think I'm thinking a little bit too ahead. So we're gonna back it up a little bit. I'm gonna reply to this client real quick. I've touched none of those teams, but St. Louis. Whomever is easiest. Oh, okay. All right, back to this. Yeah, I get it, Alex. You're hitting buttons. Okay, let's just do something cool with some of these images. So first thing we need to do with these images is I need to cut them out, most likely, and figure out what we're doing with them. Let me get my queen back here. Usually when I'm creating a card, I'm trying to think of what the name of the card could be. So, you know, being chess related, we could do a lot. Yeah, Yas Queen. Something to do with queens. We could always use ChatGPT for that. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they must have updated Photoshop. Because this select subject button, this thing works. I think it's doing a lot better job than it was before, and it was good before. I think it just works really well. Like, I don't really need to edit much of this. Like, I guess I can do this, which is just gonna break it. Like, I've been editing photos and just hitting OK and being like, boom, it's cut out, great. Like, I don't need to do anything else. It's just good to go. So I don't know how you guys like to do things. I like to cut things out and then turn them into their own individual Photoshop files. Yeah, I've had it break on me sometimes, Chris. It's been slow. Sometimes I've had to cancel out or hit escape because it doesn't work. Since these are JPEGs, I can't just cut these out, which is a new thing I noticed too. Let's do selected mask. I'm just going to hit enter. Because I had it turn off. It says if you have it like this and you don't do anything, it'll say like you can't save a JPEG how you're trying to do that. Like JPEGs can't have layers in it, or yeah, layers or masks. And it's like, yes, I know that. So let's select this subject here. Look at that. It's pretty decent. Which is why the pen tool sucks, and you should never use the pen tool. Like, why would you use the pen tool when you can do this in one click? Unless you're cutting out a trophy. Usually transform to a smart object and then flatten inside. Yeah, it does pretty much... Oh, it's quicker than resaving. One thing I could do is I could just turn this to a smart object and just paste it in here too. It does the same thing. It's just not saved anywhere. I guess it saves a little bit of space. Let's not do that one. Let's do this. I don't know the best way of doing it. I mean, that's probably a decent way. The whole copy and pasting though, I just like knowing it's a smart object saved at the highest resolution. But when you turn it to a smart object, does that? This is just such a good job. Oops. Out. Vote. Yes. I do like saving it to the desktop because I have it always later too. If I want to use it for something else, it's already cut out on my computer, not somewhere else. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mock up something cool. I got to figure out what sort of coloring I want to use for these. What colors need to be involved, because it's chess, so it's very black and white. It's very obvious to, I'll just do this, it's fine, to have something checkerboard. So like, I don't know if I have one on me. You hate to have like photos. Yeah, you'd hate to have all this stuff here. Yeah. Because you just sort of quit out of these. There we go. Yeah, because I'll be saving out, and that can become kind of a pain. Let's go to the Interstellar 555 website for no reason. Okay, let me go to my account and go to card 1. So like, this is something Panini does. I think they call it checkerboard. It's the checkerboard print. Like, this would be an obvious thing to have as a parallel, but I don't want to just do that. I'd rather have something more designed out, you know, like something like this, but then this background changes. Yeah, let's look up some Queen's Gambit fan art. It's a good idea. Now the thing is, a lot of these are going to be like illustrated and like, hey, look at me, I can draw. But like something like this is good, because this is some stuff I was looking up. So I have that somewhere else, because I pulled some stuff from archive.org in a spam call. They don't know I'm live. How dare they? Let me just find them real quick. Yeah, so here's some other stuff. So these are things I pulled together. No, that was for something else. That's different. That's different inspiration. Is it? Yeah, card 1. Here we go. So like, I looked up stuff specific to chess. Chris, I will chat with you later. Like, I feel like I might have found, not this exact, but like, here's the game of chess. So like, I really like this idea of these icons and having a very specific move set. So one of these, where's it at? Is this the London system? Oh, this is the Queen's Gambit. So we can do something with the Queen's Gambit. This is the London system. So we can do something with this, because I know that's what they open with. Or I know that's what Andrea opens with. I think Alex likes to use the French. But I'm going to drag this and toss this in here, because I think this would be cool as a pattern. So I want to see if I can make this a pattern. So I'm going to make this into a square, kind of like this. I'm going to cut it together, turn it into a smart object, open it up. It's its own thing, which is good. I want it to be black and white completely. So I'm going to add this gradient map and just sort of move this over. Maybe lighten it up a little bit so it's black and white. Turn this together, and then I can go up to Edit, Define Pattern. I can type in Queen's Gambit. So now I have this Queen's Gambit texture I can use. So if I just go down here to the bottom, I can go and I can add a pattern. That'll pull up my pattern fills. So let's see what I have in here. And they have a couple. So I can go in here, pattern fill, hit OK. It's in a hidden folder, but then it looks like this. So I can take this, I can scale it down, rotate it, 45 degrees, and sort of have this pattern. Now what might look better is if I just only do like inside the box, so it kind of flows together, kind of like this. So if I take this and go to image, for define preset, I'm like, why is it not working? You can name it whatever you want. I can always just go back here and change this to this other one. And then it's kind of always moving. It's a cool pattern. What you can do too is, it's a shame you can't do it in there, because I can right click this. Can I not right click this? Edit fill. And this does a different thing. So I want to fill this with a pattern. I want to grab the pattern I want. I want to do a script. So I want it to brick fill. So I can hit OK. It's going to give me this other option. So this is brick filling, which is not what I want. This is bad. I don't want any color randomness. Oh God. Let me hit cancel. That's not what I wanted. That's not what it should do. Should be able to fill it. Brick fill. Normal, normal, normal. And it should do it like they're bricks, but it's not doing that. Default. Okay, so it's kind of doing it. You just can't tell it's doing it. Shoot. Okay, so it's doing it this way. I don't want it to do that. I want it to do it a slightly different way. But if I do 50, it does look like it's brick. But you can't edit this. Like, you'd have to make your own file. So that's why this is nice. I just wish you could offset this, which I don't believe you can do. Which is kind of a shame. But this is a cool pattern that we can use for something. So maybe we have this pattern, you know, inside this chess piece. And this chess piece is like blown up. So it's just the top of the queen like this. But then something else is affecting this chess piece where it is, you know, maybe it's checkerboarded out. I can do this smarter. Make a quick checkerboard. No stroke on each. Just turn these into a smart object together. Just make sure they're actually touching. Grab both, do this, and then just go, hey. I guess I could make this easier. Double the height, so I can just hit ×2. Doubles the height. Double the pleasure, double the fun with double my gum. And flip this around. And go like that. So this is a checkerboard now. So I can just take all these, put them together. I don't really need to put them together. Whatever. Just go to edit. Define pattern. And type in chess. So I can go back here. I can do a new pattern fill. I can do a pattern fill of chess. Like this. Hit OK. Go like this. I can turn this into a thing. I can make it so the current layer is just black, so it sees underneath it. Which means if I turn this into a smart object, I can highlight that, and then I can use this and basically make it so it is a chess pattern that is only showing that, and then maybe underneath it is this holographic texture, like that. Like, that looks cool. Like, this would be a cool setup for something, where you see through this. It's a queen on there. And they're playing the Queen's Gambit, which is just sort of a nod to them. Okay, so we got some images here. Let's see how we can lay out these images in a composition. Let's hide this real quick. So what I like to do is I like to just sort of put everything on here. Let's take a look at what we've got. So we've got this photo, this older photo of Alex standing, which would be cool to have off to the side. But I want to see how these photos work together. So this photo of her looking off to the side, I think would look good if it was sort of like this. Let me move some of these around. So we've got two photos of her looking over. I don't think they'll both work. I'm going to hide this one for now. This guy is right here. So we're going to put this in the front. So I'm thinking of how I would design a sports quote-unquote graphic by having this sort of 1, 2, 3 hierarchy, which is a beautiful number in what is it called? Design. It's a beautiful number in design. So I'm going to hide this. I'm going to use these 3 photos as the basis of what I want to do. And really what I can't do is I can't just put these on here and just be like, okay, here we go, we're done. We're going to try and do something. I'm trying to do something that doesn't exist. So it needs to look amazing. So I'm still being conscious of where's this rectangle going. So we're going to make this, just make it cyan. Just make sure fires aren't going off. Okay, good. So this is how big the auto would need to be theoretically. Could be anywhere. I just want to make sure it's large enough. And actually, if we have our autograph like this, we need to put this somewhere. So somewhere we need somewhere to sign. We could make this sideways. We could make this how it is now. But I think this is fine. So I'm going to go and we're going to, let's turn this cool back layer back on. So now we can't see this cool layer we made. So how can we have this layer intertwine with everything? Well, first off, we need to maybe do something like this so we can see a little bit more of this. You know, if we want this chessboard in the front, like it'd be cool if she was standing on this chessboard because that's what she's doing in the image. So what I can do is let's go back to Envato. We've got this chessboard. I can just download a different angle of this and use it, which is great. So we go back to Photoshop. We grab our new chessboard. And honestly, now is where we start cooking. So I showed that we got our images ready. We've got sort of some other stuff together. And really this is just proving that this is a process. So I think it'd be cool if we did this. The signature goes down here like this. I want it above here though. Let's hide this now. So really right now, we just kind of put this below. No, we want to put it like here. Okay, so we can see where that part is. So this is telling me where this can take shape. So theoretically, if I want her to be on this chessboard, she would be like this. Maybe we put her on the chessboard, but the chessboard shrinks in size. But then is she too small? Because if I'm thinking about this on a sports card, like this guy's a normal size, but he's taking up the full thing and he's kind of small. This right now, she would be too tiny to even see. So we might need to alternate this where it's something like this and then her signature goes here and it's stacked or something like that. So let's hide the auto. We'll go here. Let's see what we've got going. Now, I'm usually obsessed with symmetry. And that's a good thing with cards, is like you want them to be symmetrical. You want them to match on the sides. And that's because when you cut it, it'll be easy to have it not have a weird thing off to the side. But we're going to want them to cut it symmetrically anyway, so the centering is on. But we can make the design asymmetrical in nature on purpose too. Like I can put this up here. Maybe we change this so we know that this is a queen. And the queen is now here. Maybe we get rid of this. Oh, we turn this pattern fill off. So we've got this sort of thing going on in the background. We don't really know what it is. Okay, I'm going to edit some of these photos now. Let's go into this photo here and let's tweak this. So the background of this, what color do we want to make this? I don't know what colors they use in their branding. So it's a little tough. But I'm just going to make this, I'm making this a red background just so I can tweak the hair color to make it work. I mean, they did a great job of cutting this out, to be honest. Now, I usually do the same editing to all the images I have. Sort of a sportier editing. Let me see if I can do this, though. This wasn't working for me, and I don't know why. So I've got this plugin, the Nick Collection. And these HDR effects, I don't think were working. Okay, they're working on here. Because this has the license on it. On my new laptop, it was kind of broken. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to duplicate this. I need to do this with the full image. So I can go to Reveal All. This is the full image. I'll turn that to Smart Object just because I can. And then I'm going to go to these plugins. So I got these on, I think, Black Friday for a pretty solid deal. So I wanted to play around with different editing techniques. Like, you can go super HDR with some of this stuff and make stuff look super bad. But I wanted something that sort of helped me out. I wanted to try and achieve a specific effect. So I'm gonna hit apply on this. Now, this is black and white because I can go into this effect, and what I can do is I can set this blending. I can change this specific smart filter to be whatever blending mode I want. So I want it to be overlay, so I can see what it looks like. And usually I'll set them to like 50%. So if I turn this off and on, you can see what it's doing. So it's really, what it did was it brightened her up a little bit too much. So I use a little bit too much contrast. So I can always go back in here, pull this up, and edit anything in here. So I want the highlights and the whites to be lower. I want to add a little bit more structure. The blacks are high. I want the highlights lower. Because what this does is it basically looks at medium gray and makes things more or less contrasting. Still too much darkness. Still need to brighten it up. And I haven't used this too often. That's a little bit better. Saturation, structure's good. I need the whites to be darker, the highlights to be... If I just do this and like just go... Whoop. Like, what does that look like? If I just blast out the numbers, like, does that defeat the purpose? It's just so dark. That's where I can change this to make it like... Shoot, double clicked it on accident. Like, I can go in here. It's not, no. Oh yeah, and I can change this to be like 25%. The keyboard doesn't want to work though. So it's adding a little bit of like sharpening right off the bat. And then I can just apply this to that and then hit save, go down. It looks like this, which is a little bit better. Then if I hit the sort of Princeton editing stuff I like to do, I'm going to hide all this stuff and just see. I don't want to make it too choppy. Like, I want the editing to look solid. And the thing with... The issue with how I edit images is it's usually good for gritty stuff. Not, like, beauty and stuff like that. So I don't want to, like, crunchy... I don't want to make them look too crunchy. Is essentially what it is. Just set the color, that's fine. I mean, I like how this looks for the most part. Like this compared to that. Like it looks better. It has more contrast to it, which is good. But there's a lot of stuff we can do to fix it. But we're going to do this just from the start. And what I'm probably going to do, if you want to keep along with this, is I'm probably going to try and stream a lot more throughout the week. And share all the... I want to share this process with you all as much as possible. What am I doing? I need to go to reveal all. Oh, no, I don't. I just need to do this. Okay. So the cool thing about that plugin, though, is I can go to the filter HDR. It'll have the exact same effect. But this photo is a little bit different. So you can see all the JPEG artifact in here, which looks really bad. Which is why using raw photos is the way to go. Because all this stuff's going to look good. I'm just going to set this to 25, and then I'm going to set it to overlay. And then do this, and hit save, and go back. But this, I need to turn this into a smart object then. We'll delete that. And then hit this button. Now, I think what I did was I turned the camera raw off. No, I only had the camera raw. I didn't do the high pass. I think these are set a little bit too high, though. This is the editing I'm doing on that. Shadows I want a little bit higher. And let's do like -10 on the blacks. These theoretically should match, which they don't. So that's a problem. Let's save this as Alex Botez card 1 mock. But we can fix that. I do like how this looks. So let's go here. Let's edit this photo a little bit. Let's edit the camera raw. I think that might help. 10, -10, 65, 10, -10. So these should match a little bit more. Now I know what a lot of people like to do is, like, I'll go in the hue and saturation and they change this, which is a good thing. But they desaturate and lighten up the eyeballs. This is not gonna do anything. They already edited this photo pretty solid. So I don't think I can do that. Okay, so we've got Andrea. We've got Alex here, which is good. We can fix some of her hair later. We can fix the hair here later. What this photo needs, though, it needs a little bit more contrast. So what I'm going to do here, I should use a curves layer. And then we'll do this. So I need this to be a little bit darker. Okay, those actually match up a little bit already, which is nice. Just need to be a hair darker. But the color balance is a little bit off. The midtones are a little bit red compared to this. So we're gonna move that over just a little bit. So you can see they match a little bit better from this to this. Yeah, it matches. Oh, it's on both. That's why it's doing that. Actually looks pretty fine for both. Okay, cool. So let's take this front image now. Front standing. So here's this front standing image. I don't want to spend like a ton of time on these. I just want to showcase, here's some things I can do. So we're going to delete this layer mask again, image. We're going to reveal all. We're going to turn this here. So a lot of it right now off the bat is trying to figure out how we want to edit these images. Figuring out how we want to, I could have copied and just pasted a smart object. Ooh, this is going to be super dark just because it's a different photo. So using the same effects on a different photo from a completely different scene, not ideal. 25 overlay, kind of dark. We can always fix it later. We'll see how good or bad this looks. Turn these off and tone down the camera raw. Usually I go a little bit too far with some of my editing, and then you can always scale it back with working non-destructively. Now what I'm going to do to the face here is nothing, it's fine. I'm going to really accentuate these highlights because I want to. So these 1 pixel highlights on her eyeballs, I'm just going to go bloop. And you're not even going to be able to see them on the final composition because this is what it looks like. But this is solid so far. We got her on the chessboard. Let's give her some shadows so she doesn't look weird, and I gotta fix her foot. So her foot down here doesn't exist, so we're just gonna grab... We're gonna group all this together. Like this, we're gonna disable the layer mask. No, the layer mask is fine. We're gonna go like this and see what this does. Let's hit generative fill. Let's see if it understands I want the other part of her boot. Because I bet it doesn't. Look at that. Kind of did. What boot looks best? That's probably fine. Just take this whole thing, put it in a group together, mask it out. And with a nice solid brush. Need black as my color. Because black removes, white adds on layer masks. And we'll just shape this boot out. Kind of like that. There, now she has a boot. Cool. Now it doesn't match. Here is a problem because I have this turned on. Okay, that's fine. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. So now she's got boots. So I might take her and sort of, I don't want to skew her. I want her to be standing still. So she's standing straight up. but she isn't. So I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to go to puppet warp. We're going to expand this a bunch of pixels. We want her to be standing straight up, which she is. Just figure out where some joints are. And basically just make her leg longer, make her leg shorter. Let's go here. Take this whole kit and caboodle and just move her over like that. There, now she's sort of standing straight up. Because the puppet warp tool is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some shadows to the chessboard here. I'm going to do that using Dean Davies floor shadows. Floor shadows. So something happened with my Photoshop and all of everything got deleted. So I had to add everything back. So I don't have as much stuff in here as I used to, which is kind of sad. But I do have the floor shadows in my Ethan J brushes because we can. So let's grab one of these feet shadows. I don't know if I use these the way that Dean intended. Dean hops in here every once in a while. I just kind of do my own thing with them. And I usually just turn them into smart objects. So I might as well just have them as smart objects and not even brushes. Because I don't use them as brushes. I just use them as smart objects. Which I don't think is what he intended. But it's how I do things. So it's fine. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Unless he tells me it's wrong because he made them. Then he like kind of has sort of ground to stand on with that argument because he made it. And he can say, no, that's not how you're supposed to do this at all. But there. So like that looks better. She has some sort of shadow underneath her that's not, you know, a blurred out. It's not this blurred out. But what might look cool actually is if instead of she's on a chessboard, we do something with the chessboard. So maybe we do take this like oval layer like this and mask the chessboard to that. So then she's on sort of this disc, which is kind of cooler than that. And actually it'd be even cooler if the disc was kind of like that. Or maybe this is what, maybe the queen shape we have, this cool queen shape. Bear with me. Is sort of like this. And it's behind her. And then she's also on this chessboard. I kind of like that idea. So she's standing on this chessboard, but then also she's got this big queen piece behind her. Kind of like this. But I want there to be enough contrast where she is behind it and you can tell it's a queen. And that might be something where we get rid of this really complicated texture. Whoops, 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 whoops. Like maybe we move this. Can I not move this down? Oh, I can move it down. It's just going to be sort of off to the side. No, it's not. I'll just make this. Or is it the parallel doesn't reach? Something like this. Should really label some of these. Small front. Usually how I do stuff is, oh god, small front. Let me just hit some buttons real quick. Good question. Oh, let's see. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, like, this would actually be kind of cool on its own. Like, this really sort of dynamic, really weird sort of thing. Weird is usually good. I'm going to make this chessboard a little bit darker. I'll use this. It's fine. Just darken it up a bit. We have all these cool, weird, funky patterns and stuff going on. I can't... Oh, I need to do this. I can't use the free transform tool because the initial bounding box is empty. Doesn't matter. This is a... What is happening? I didn't turn this into a smart object. That's the problem. So this is a smart object. So maybe I can turn it like this and make it a little bit larger. And maybe this is set to... Well, that's the thing. I'm going to have this set to multiply. But it also partially is what is going to be beneath it. So we're going to make a card design, but then we need to figure out what parts of the card do we actually want to show through the holographic and not be blocked off. So we can think about that here with this. I think what we can do though, like this is kind of cool. This just happened. I don't think I want it to be that way. Ooh, let me just group this random stuff together and hide this. Okay. So we can kind of do this, or maybe we just do 2 images, but I really like just 3s. It just works out really well. And here's what I don't want to do. I don't want just like random gradients like this to mask things out. I want it to be intentional. And now I woke my dog up, which is not what I wanted to do, but it's fine. Oh, I didn't move this down. I thought something looked a little bit odd. Ooh, this needs to be up here. And below. Okay. Someone goes in the back. Kind of like that. I can fix these shadows later. You get the point. Okay, I need to turn off that one layer I turned on. Turn this off. So this is what we've got going on for the front. This? Yeah, okay. So maybe we go like this. Maybe we grab her face like this, put her over here. Usually I want someone looking into the composition, but I think it just frames nicely looking out. So I think this works well as an aesthetic. And we can always kind of take a look at what this is going to look like using a card mockup. Okay, so I want their logo on here, which is not right there. Let me take this. What if I take this, kind of go like this. We duplicate it. And we go, this is how I want you to sign this. Let's just invert this and then just paint it back in. Kind of like that. Same thing here. Just paint it where it says Alex Botes. We've got the auto down here in sort of a mocked up size. And that'll vary. Okay, let me find... I thought I made a new 3D logo somewhere. But I can't tell you where it is. But it might be in here. But I guess it's not. So like this is my logo. So I need this to be like on a background. Sort of filled in, but not. Like what did I do here? This is blended if. Because this is a black background. Yeah, that sounds about right. I need to render this out. Is there an alpha channel on this randomly? No, I'll figure that out later. All right, let me just put my logo here. New logo. The funny thing is, I know I exported some of my logos because I sent them to someone. Let me see if I can just find that email. gmfamilyfirst.com. So we go to Gmail. Wrong account. How you guys doing? Are you guys picking up what I'm trying to trying to cook here. We're just getting started. Like, really, I'm laying this out, and then I'm gonna go not crazy, but I'm gonna make it awesome. I need it to be great. I need it to look like a trading card, sports card, while also not looking like a trading card, sports card. So let's do main. What is this? Okay, so here's my main logo. We can fix this later. So this is going to be on here, you know, in some aspect. Put up in the corner, something like that. We grab their logo. Oh, it's already in here. Where is their logo at? Is it in this random group of stuff? Otis Live. Is this the good one? Yeah. I gotta do something with this too. You know, this can be some sort of aspect. You know, maybe this is sort of like graffiti in the background or something. I don't know. And I also don't want this logo, my logo, to be like, I want it to be on here prominent, but I don't want it to be like taking away from the design. Because it's supposed to be just sort of a signature. It's supposed to be a little sign at the end. So it really just depends on what avenue we want to go. Let me pull you guys back up. There we go. Pull this back up. And we're good. Okay. So here's the thing with them. I think they're from Canada. This is where we do research. And when we do research, I mean, we go to Wikipedia. So I know she's like 7 or 8 time US like junior champion. So there's always this photo that we can use. So she won her first girls national championship at age 8 in Canada, which is crazy. So her peak rating was in 2016. She's a FIDE master, which is good. We can play something with that. But I really want to see, so they're from Texas. So their citizenship is in the United States and Canada, but they are American. So we don't need to put anything like Canadian in there. They're from Texas. You know, do they have an allegiance to Texas? Because we could put some stuff in here city-wise, which I think is why sometimes designing something for like sports teams who have very specific, this is the city I am from, I want you to add this to it. Sometimes it can be a little bit easier. But let me go in here. Let me add a solid color behind this. Just sort of go like this. I don't want her hair to be so light, essentially, in this spot. Just gonna dress her hair up a little bit, but not really. It's really getting rid of sort of this background schmutz that only we're going to notice. They might actually, if they're like, why does my hair look like that? Why does my hair look that way? I don't know what you're talking about. Looks fine. Yeah, it looks like it needs to be brushed this way. Like, it looks really, really weird. I don't know what you're talking about. Just making this a little bit darker. I could do this a slightly different way, but this is sort of fine. Really just trying to get rid of these highlights because I can add these highlights back in. I'd rather do them a little bit manually. That way it matches the scene. I think what we need is I need something in the background. In a background color. So if I do have something that is checkerboarded, black and white, it pops on something. This does not want to work. Okay. And we'll just cut this off because it doesn't really matter. I thought we had one over here. No, we don't. Good. So like this whole thing right here is giving me sort of this alternative punk rock UK vibes, which is kind of fine. Pinterest.com. Let me pull Pinterest back up. Just want to pull my inspiration back up because I always want that available. for how I want to do stuff. So like I think, for instance, like this is a good example of something where it would look good on a card. These sort of compositions that would look good on a card as a composition with a spot for a signature, which is, that's sort of what I'm trying to figure out with this. And usually what I have noticed, what I will do is I'll make things a little bit too large. I need to scale them down. So if we do something like this, I think it looks pretty cool. Hopefully you guys do too. And then we just sort of play around with composition as to what is what size. Let me hide her auto again. Like, this is what we're working with. So then it's like, well, what scene do we want to put this in? Like, if this was a photo manipulation, what does the photo manipulation scene look like? You know, I don't know what scene I would put someone in. You know, easily we can go in here, we can go to the background, and we can just say, hey, add a pattern fill that's, you know, a checkerboard. Like, super obvious thing to do. Might be fine. And I think we can play with that outside of this here. But I wouldn't want it to be, you know, just like this. One thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this stroke. So this is the bleed, which is what we need. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this a border. Because I want to see what this looks like if it has a white border going around the whole card that is like this. So it has a little bit of a border around it, because I think that works really well. Like, I know I've said this before. A lot of the inspiration and blueprint and why I want to do this is because I think what Tyson Beck is doing is great. He's a great designer. He's got a huge following, which is why he's able to make a lot of this work. And I'm trying to follow in those footsteps, essentially. But, like, this nice big border around it. Now, he's got this really nice drawn, sort of crazy. Like, this is a really nice template for Groundbreakers. It makes sense for that. I don't necessarily want to do a template, but I do like how thick this thick border looks. And then what we can do is we can always have stuff break out of that on purpose. So if we have, maybe we have it like this, but then we also have, where's Envato? Let's just go back here. Envato. We can always add in a chess king. And, you know, I don't have to spell things correctly because it'll figure it out. But apparently it won't. So I'm just trying to figure out where my dog went. I think she's just laying by the back. Should be fine. But let's say we want a king, but we want a king knocked over like this. What is this? Chess kings. I'm going to view the 3D render view because I want it from straight above. Kind of like this. But I want it to be black. Yeah. Okay, so hold on. If I go here, there's a lot of this here. Oh, it's different pieces defeating the king. I basically want a king on its side by itself. Can I search Fallen King Chess? And it's going to give me the same stuff. And I can always add the shadow in myself. It's just easier if they just do it for me. So I don't have to. Chess King defeats enemy Chess King. Which is good. I want something like... Let's do this. So I'm going to download this angle. Because I think that would go really nicely here, going across the top. I really like what we've got going on now. We're in a solid spot. So what I'm going to do actually is I can go to selection areas in here and I can go like this and just say, hey, select, modify, expand, do like 10 pixels. I can go like this and go whoop. And now it's gone. Which is good, because then I can group this together. And I can just sort of erase out that. And then I can turn the background off. Save, go here. And now we have just a fallen chess piece. So I can go like this and sort of have it break that border, which I think looks cool. Now, I don't think it's dark enough, so I can always go in with the curves, grab this guy and say, let's make it a little bit darker. But the thing is, it's going to print dark. Like, it's going to print a lot darker than you think. So, like, this is black, which you can't really see. You can kind of see that it's black. This, I think, is 60% gray, actually. Like, it's not fully black. And I could probably look it up. Let me hit save on this here. And actually, I'm going to take this pattern. And I'm going to run a filter on it. I want to see what my dog wants. I'm going to pixelate it. And I'm going to crystallize it 3 pixels. Where are you at? Where you at? You want to come up here? Ah, there you go. This is Penny. This is Penny. She's going to hang out and help us work. So just adding this little crystallized to it makes it look a little bit more organic, which is cool. Okay, you can't lay on. You gotta lay here. You gotta lay right there. So I think what I might do is I might take this pattern and just have it gradiate up like this. And we figure out what goes down here at the bottom. And with that pattern, if I take it based on how it's in here, I can make it a little bit larger. So it sort of fits exactly on the sides. And then I have a nice little container for my logo specifically. And then I can just make it, if I do a color overlay, I can just make it white. Or make it whatever color I want. So then it's on here. It's in this square. It has a home. Okay, I really like the front, and I think it's because of the holographic color. So part of it is, what other holographic color shines through? So if I take this current layer and get rid of all of the white, because it's a pattern, and turn it into a smart object, I can turn this hollow texture back on, and I can kind of do that. So then this is a holographic color, which looks pretty cool. And then this would theoretically match that. I want to give this a border. I just like how borders look. I like this fallen chess piece at the top. I think I would like one down here too, and maybe figure out some intentionality between some of this stuff. I need to have her name on here somewhere. So I'm just going to write down Alexandra Botez. And figure out how I want to put this on here. You know, do I want to go super British punk vibes? Kind of. I kind of like that idea. And I think it's because she has red on here. And it's this red and black and sort of thing. So I don't know what vibe they would want, but I just like the idea of punk rock, where we add in some textures, we add in some cooler stuff like this, even though their branding is very, you know, very clean. So maybe we take the Botez logo and we put it down here. And figure out where the logo would look best. It'd probably, you know, we corner it up. Probably would look best like that. But maybe like I did on my it's gonna come to me. My Taylor Swift post or design. Maybe we do something like this, where it says Botez behind them, and then that is a color overlay. Maybe that color overlay changes with some stuff. So we're just going to hide her name off to the side here. So I like how a lot of this looks. What I don't like is I don't know how to separate these. I don't want them to be just gradations. Maybe what I can do is I can take this pattern and kind of go like this for each of them. And go like this. So it kind of gradiates out like that, but then I have to group this together, which I can do. Kind of go like this. That's kind of okay. I just think this needs to be a lot smaller then. And this needs to gradiate itself. Oh, come on, I can duplicate this. Can I not duplicate this? Yeah, there we go. I just need to do this. I think I need to do that. Is that what it's doing? A little bit. But then move this down. You know, like there's a way of figuring out how to get this to be masked out that looks cooler than how this is. And maybe it's doing this. I think I can do it. Can I do it just with this? Like if I go like this, can I take this layer mask and then distort it by doing a mosaic? Yes. So I can do this, which is a little bit different, but still the same idea. So I can do this, and then I can just go to filter mosaic. And it kind of does a little bit of a checker effect for me. It's more of just pixels, but it's a thing. I'm going to pause this for a second. And we're going to grab one of my templates. Let's see if this is the base template. Oh, this is the quality control one. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, let's get rid of the rookie card here. So this is where I can just right click this and just hit replace contents. And then just say Botez card mockup. And it's not the exact same size, which is fine, but not fine. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I want to drop this in here because we don't want the bleed on there, so it looks a little weird. So we go like this, and then it's pretty much where the bleed is. I can also just like edit it from here now and not the other one. Let's just get rid of this. We're just gonna see what this looks like. So this is what it would theoretically look like in a one-touch case. But something on here. Yeah, I'm gonna like it how it looks like that. So I think it looks pretty cool. Let me grab their logo and my logo. I can paste-a-rooney these on here. Make this say Botez like that. Maybe we make the background color darker, or maybe we make it like this sort of luxury, you know, purple color, which matches pretty well. And what I'm going to end up doing is, you know, like something like this, and then I would say like Bradley, Jack. Bradley, Jack. Do I want design or cards? Because that's sort of the thing. Gray Botez. Auto. Exclusive. You know, something like that. And this is something I got to figure out too, is really semantics of a lot of this, how this is going to look and branded. It's going to look a lot like whatever I'm going to have on my packaging, but I got to figure that out. But for now, I kind of like how this is. Except I need this to be Dharma Gothic, which probably isn't the best font to use, but I just like it. Bradley Jack cards. Let's do Bradley Jack design. And there's two... Oh, is there just like a ton of space behind the character? The paragraph here? Yeah, okay. I want this to be 0, which is going to do that, which makes sense. And I just need to go... Okay, let's do Botez template straight on test. We'll just put that on my desktop. So this is how this is now, but we need to figure out how to put the auto on here. We need to figure out how to finish the rest of the card. So I think what I want to do, you know, add a little bit of punkness to this. I always go to Tyson's website and it like autos to a shop and just like breaks. But if I just go to www.tysonbeck.com, it's a lot better. Sometimes what he has done, which I think is a really good idea, is he has like a nice border on it with information. Which looks like he hasn't done that in a hot sec actually, but like he sort of got this border to this, but then stuff goes outside of it and he's got this like parallel on the outside, which is kind of nice. This, as it stands, doesn't really do that, because what it would need to do is I would need to take this border. That's weird. Border. Let me just set the fill to 100. What? Why is that happening? The border with a fill, but if I turn it into a smart object, it gets rid of that? That doesn't make any sense. Let me just do this. Now if I turn it into a border, what is happening? What is this? Yeah. That's really weird. That shouldn't happen. Like if I do this, it should turn this into convert to smart object. Okay, we're gonna rasterize this and then turn it to a smart object and then get rid of the white and then turn it into another smart object. It's really stupid how it did that. Good thing I know how to get around a lot of this crap. But now it's too big. Okay, so this border needs to be pretty much exactly here. I really could have just like drawn a rectangle that was that size and it would have been fine. But what I would sort of want to do is this, where then this is on the outside, but then maybe we have something around that, and that's where a just really finite border goes on here. That's like 2 pixels. But 2 pixels isn't enough, but this isn't black. So maybe it's like 6 pixels. We turn that into a smart object, and we use that crystallize to make it a little bit rough so it's not so natural, and then we set it to multiply. So it looks something like that. And then this breaks in front of it. That's not bad. I do not like how this looks with this border right now. It's super dark, and I think it's because of the chessboard we have in the background that is not named. Is just because my background, like if I think it's just because my background's that color. Like, can I just do this? Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's put that in here underneath the hollow. No, let's put it above the hollow. No, it's just gonna make everything black. So I need this to be down here like this. And this is where, like, I want to make this a color. I would want to make this a specific color so it's not black. But then I add the same gradation to it. Kind of like that. And then we change this to whatever. Do we want it to be red? Do we want it to be purple? You know, what color do we want it to be? Do we want it to be gold? And we can add other things to make it that specific color. But for now, we're just going to make it black. And then we can play around with some of these heads we have. But again, here's the thing. Still need to figure out where to put the auto and how to put the autograph on here. Because if we have this autograph that looks like this, like it's right there, but we've got this front and center, which looks kind of nice. Maybe this is at the top and then down at the bottom, this gradates. So we go like this, and then we just sort of gradate this up. And we sort of flip-flop the composition where these headshots are now in front, kind of like this. But I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like that better. Compositionally, there's no size contrast then. I think this is solid. And again, this is honestly, this is just like a mock-up. So let me just put this over here like this. Because I don't want to think, it's not going to be this. Let me just make this color overlay black. You can always fix it later. I really like how her auto, the name is on there, but I don't think it works with the auto. So we take this group, right? Just move her kind of like this. But I need it to be more because I need to get rid of these chess pieces that are in front of her. But really, I can just put these chess pieces back in too. Like I can go here, go here, go here. Let's just duplicate this, delete this layer mask. Select subject, but then also select everything down here. But I don't want this. Get this out of here. I don't really need the coffee cup, but it's fine. So I can hide. No, I don't really want to hide this. I just sort of want to paint some of this back. Think like this and just paint it back in where I want. Paint, 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 paint. Paint, 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 paint. Whatever, paint the cut back in. Might look bad. Save that here, go back here, save that here, go back here, go back here, go back here. Actual composition. So we can see there's some stuff in there, but it's not super apparent anymore. I also want to make sure that the mosaic of her, this over here doesn't interfere here, which it kind of is. So I think what I have to do is just move this down at a very specific pace for where the gradient is, and then move Alex to fit around that. So this is what we got going on. There's a lot of room in here to do a lot more stuff. I'm just trying to figure out what that's going to be, because we need more stuff interacting. Like this interacts and plays really well with stuff. We need more of that here. Where's the edge to this? It's just sort of, it's a good start, is honestly what I would say. And if these, you know, bleed over like this, I don't know what sort of marker I'm going to have them use, or what they would use for this. But it would say that. So far what we have, if I go to our lovely little sheet that we talked about to start off of what we're doing. No templates. Okay, this isn't really templated. It's a design specifically for her, which is good. Holographic wear, we have that kind of figured out. What can change color for rarity? We figured it could be this background color. And maybe the color behind her. So we really need to change the color of that to something else. Chest focus, nailed that. Okay, good. Place for autograph, we kind of have that. What we don't have is that depth. So that's what I would need to, that's what I need to work on with this. This is a good start, which is like a hilarious thing to say, but it's a good start. And honestly, I think I like it better when this was white. And then what we could do instead, I'm trying to think here. Okay, this is the border. This is the hollow border. I know what I would need to do. I need to put this here. But then this is like a specific color. I mean, really, if this was a color, it'd be set to multiply. And we're just going to make it, you know, we're going to make it a color. Actually, no, we're going to, let me show you how this theoretically would look. It's going to make it blue. Instead, it's normal. Where are you going? You going right there? Okay. So technically what I want is I don't want any of this holographic stuff on here. The hollows I don't want. I have it on here as just sort of mock-up of how this would look. Now if this was a holographic, it would need to be this blue color, because that's the color of the parallel. So it's blue. So everything is blue right now. So it's kind of what we want. This is showing me that I need to move this pattern over just a teeny bit, which is fine. Where's that at? Is that this? Yeah, just need to move that like that. Teeny bit. This I need to turn on, but I need this to just be white. And we kind of go from here. I like the start this is at. I don't know how much longer I'm going to work on this on stream. I just want to show you, see if I can show you something on here. This is our mock-up, which we saved, but I need this to be, I need the mask layer of this. So this is telling me what is going to be see-through and what isn't. So this is where I can just turn this whole layer on. Set it to normal. Let me turn these off. What is that? It's white. I want that to be white. And then make a layer that's a solid color that is white. So this is what our card looks like. Really what I would do is I would grab all this, group it together, and just hit multiply. So then this is how it's going to be, this is how it would be printed CMYK on a on the holographic. So if I want something to not be that color, like the blue is fine, but if I want the white on there, I need to make sure the white is on there. If Alex is on there, I need Alex to be on there. So I want her. So I definitely want front standing. I want this to be in it. I want this to be in it. So I'm going to put all of these up front here. And what I like to do is I like just to make a group and set the color to be this. So this is what I want. But I messed some stuff up. So I want this. I want this. So instead of setting this to multiply, I would really get rid of stuff that doesn't need to be there. So this hollow border, we don't need. Now I'm sorry, I'm really confusing myself on this. But it's kind of confusing to think about. So I want the blue to show through is really what is happening here. So what I could do is just take everything that's blue, turn it into smart objects, and remove everything else. So I have this. I remove this pattern from it. I remove Alex in the front from it. The chessboard might be fine. And then I mask. So it looks like that. And then the background, I take this and I minus this out. Oops, I duplicated that. So I have this. I subtract this from it, subtract this from it. Then I can take this and mask that out. I take this and I take this and I take this. I basically remove that from here like that. But I also need to grab the chess piece. Keep that in. And this border. Keep that in. And this is a bleed, so it doesn't really matter. Kind of like this. And then if I set this whole thing to white, this is what will print underneath it. I think is kind of solid. Let me just put my logo up here and just make my logo white. So if I save this as the mask, here's what all should happen with that. So we have this cool thing here. So I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna grab our holographic texture here and just paste it here. Put this on top, set it to multiply. That's how the last layer is going to print. Then I want to add on here what the top layer is going to be, or the first layer. Because we're going to put down this white mask layer first. So actually what I want to do, I need these to be the exact same size. So it's 110.34. So if I set this, oh, they're different. Let me replace that contents with the new updated one we just saved. But it's card one mock. There we go. So now it looks like this. Now this looks bad because my logo is black and I want my logo to be black. So we're going to make my logo the regular color. But then this is how it would print. So you can see that if I turn this layer off and on, this will print down a layer of white, then everything on top of it will print over it. But then you can see where the holographic shines through. So actually on this mock-up, I need to go in here and grab this and delete it like that. Because I think I want to add some stuff in the back like that, there. And this is how I figure out what's going to be where. And actually I want this chessboard piece. I think I want this to be sort of holographic too. But I don't want Alex in front to be holographic. So I need to grab her again and just make sure her feet are like that. Oh, shoot. But I need to turn this back layer off because I just want this to be black and white. Oh, no, this is a... I hit that button. I hate. But I do need to get rid of this. Because this should be that. Because it needs to be transparent. So what's going to happen is this is going to be holographic in the back then. But we are not in the right spot yet. This is where we are. So now she's standing on this, but it's holographic see-through. This is holographic see-through, and this is see-through. So this is a good start as to what I want to do. You can see here I can fix some stuff here. So then ideally the easy thing to do then is once I have the design figured out, I can change the different parallels by just changing 2 colors. I just change the fill color to be red, you know, save it, go back to our mockup, or I save that out as a file, and then in our mockup file, let me quit out of some of these. This is what Chris was talking about earlier, having all this stuff open. It changes here to be red, and then we have our red layer. And we save that, and if we go back here, it updates automatically here, and then maybe we change this back bottom color to be sort of a reddish color. And then we have our mockup. So that's what we've got, how we've got that looking. So I don't think I'm done with this yet, but I do need to head out. So I'm going to finish this just tonight off stream. Thank you guys for joining me in these, how long have I been on here? About 2 hours? Yeah, just under 2 hours. There's a lot of work I want to do on this. This is just to sort of show what I can do though. So like, there's sort of I don't need to spend 1,000,000 hours on it, but I think if I spend 2 hours a day or something this week fleshing this stuff out, I think it'll look pretty cool. So let me know in the comments if you think this looks cool, where you think it's at. There's a lot of stuff in here I need to tweak. It's gonna look similar to this. This is the basic composition we got set up in like 2 hours. Now I need to go in and add all the details that you would want to find on sort of a sports card. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to be posting every day to share along with this process. You know, I've got a meeting with a printer this week, so I'll talk about that and talk a little bit more about the pitch deck. If you want to hear about that on a stream, let me know. Other than that, make sure you like and subscribe. I love that. I'm posting to YouTube Shorts pretty much every day. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and you can check out my website as well. And I will see you guys next time. You guys have a lovely rest of